What if Beat Saber was a Kinect game? I made a video where I gave myself full body tracking in VR using a Kinect, which worked. So I started to think, man, this sure is scuffed. How do I make it worse? I got to thinking, and I found a niche little indie game. You might have heard of it. It's called Beat Saber. Beat Saber is the reason that like half the people that have VR headsets have VR headsets. It's the next evolution of rhythm games where you aren't just hitting some arrows anymore. Your entire body is being put to the test. This ain't no DDR dance relaxation. Your arms need to be on both sides of the screen at once. This game is a full body workout, and we are going to make it completely unplayable. Ah, the Kinect. Some hate it, some love it, both agree that it's overpriced. The Kinect is a decade-old piece of hardware that was just way too ahead of its time, and just like the PS3, it has no games. This was the fatal flaw of the Kinect. It could have been flawless and had zero technical hitches whatsoever in a perfect world, but it still would have failed because it had like 3 or 4 good games that actually utilized its capabilities, and all of them were just dance. The problem here is that there just weren't any cool or unique ideas that were ready for the Kinect. Then there's Beat Saber. This would have been the perfect Kinect game. The only thing VR really brings this game is the ability to freely move both hands. You're staring in one direction the entire time, and there really isn't too much spatial awareness needed. This game could work on Kinect. So I did what any sane man would do, and well, let's just say I created a monster. I decided, in my hubris, in my search for greatness, I, a mere mortal, would make this game the game that I knew it could be. And, well, it went about as well as you could expect. I had forgotten to factor in one key detail, and that's the fact that the Kinect sucks. And this game was not designed for the Xbox 360, so to say it was a bit unresponsive is giving it a little too much credit. So let's back things up a tad. As I used in my last VR video, we are using Driver for VR, a cheap driver for, well, VR that allows the Kinect to work in VR. What it basically does is emulate VR controllers using the skeletal tracking of the Kinect. So it isn't using the Kinect as an input as much as it's using a VR tracker that does not exist, that is based on the approximation that the Kinect is giving you. And as scuffed as it is, it does the job, but let's take a second to imagine a perfect world for a moment. Just close your eyes, let it sink in. This is a perfect world, one where Beat Saber was designed for the Kinect, with the Kinect's faults in mind. Precision is not a strong suit of the death camera, so factoring for that, the menus should work the same as any Kinect game, right? You just hover your hand over it, wait for that little circle to go around, and then you select it, boom. You should just be able to hover your hand over that song and then you can play it, right? Now imagine that you had none of that. Snap back to reality. We are running a Kinect through third-party software using it to emulate VR controllers. I never thought that something as simple as holding your hand over a menu option to select it was a necessity. It took me and my roommate literally an hour to play this game for 30 seconds, and we tried everything. I even connected my Joy-Cons from my Switch, thinking they would somehow give me better dexterity. But no, the gyroscope just continued to slowly move on its own, making it even less easy. We needed a better approach. Delving deeper into the depths of Driver for VR, we found a menu that allowed us to map certain gestures to button presses. We only need one button press for this entire game, so we set every single gesture to the trigger, which is what you use to select the song and then launch it. And it took quite a while for it to even recognize the gestures in the first place. But eventually we got it to work, and there is a lot going on the screen right now, so I'll break down everything you're seeing. Basically, this output here tells you if you're doing the gesture or not, with the gestures being either a fist or putting your hand over your head. So I'm here, and yes. Yes! We did it! Oh, this is so stupid. This is so stupid and terrible.
Everything about this is scuffed.
Everything about this is terrible. Everything about this is scuffed. I'm playing sicko mode. But now that we got it to recognize the fist, the challenge was actually lining up the hand over the option. Okay. Continue. Even if your hand was over the option, you had to make a fist to select it, and this took far too long, but eventually, we were able to get it to work. Come on, I believe in you. I believe in the dream. No, it restarted. Oh, it's so scuffed. It's so scuffed, but it works. Why does this work? Oh no! Oh, this is so stupid. It kind of works. It kind of works. No! As you can see, this is not the ideal setup for this game, but in a perfect world, this would have theoretically worked. I can see a world where this is an actual functioning Kinect game, because if this thing could decipher dance moves and just dance, surely it could work properly for Beat Saber. But as you will see, it may be a little more difficult at high speeds.
Let me play it.
Yes! Oh no, this is worse. This is way worse.
What the fuck? What?
And that, my friends, is what it would have been like to have Beat Saber as a Kinect game. This was really fun to do, and if you already have a Kinect and a VR setup and Beat Saber and money for a Kinect driver, still just don't do this. It is nowhere near worth it. But it is fun to imagine the alternate timeline where this was a Kinect game and the butterfly effect would cause our 46th US president to be none other than Kanye West, with Vice President Lil Yachty, of course. And instead of calling out Pete Davidson in his song where the album cover is a skinned monkey, he'd call out North Korea, which would lead to World War III and the end of human civilization as we know it. So honestly, better timeline. But with that being said, I hope to see you in the next one.